People don't typically think of stretching when they think about building muscle and strength. Additionally, the value of stretching generally is frequently disputed. Even here on this channel, I've mentioned how stretching has mostly been found to be unhelpful for treating injuries or reducing muscular stiffness. It doesn't mean that stretching is useless, but as with most things, the kind of stretching you perform should be explicitly related to your goals rather than aimlessly twisting your body to feel the heat of a strain on the base of your pinky finger. Putting jokes aside, a recent investigation into static stretching turned up some quite intriguing results. If everything goes as planned, my opinions on stretching might need to be revised, and pinky gains won't really be all that funny after all. Therefore, in this video, we're going to mentally challenge ourselves and learn more about what this 2023 research comprises. The study's researchers enrolled 55 participants, 28 men and 27 women, who had at least a year of continuous experience with strength training. Participants stretched their dominant legs' plantar flexors, or calves, every day for 6 weeks. They were told to hold the stretch for an unbroken hour each day while using a calf stretching orthosis. The objective was to determine the effects of this daily hour of static stretching on 3 distinct outcomes. One is range of motion, which can be measured in a stretch-based study without being too startling. But 2 and 3, the results for muscle strength and muscle hypertrophy, are the ones you're probably most interested in. The objective included comparing the variations in results between males and females. What then did they discover? First, the range of motion. In the 2 flexibility tests that were conducted, both males and females improved the ankle range of motion of their dominant leg, but increases were statistically higher in males. Males may have a shorter baseline range of motion than females, which gives them more possibility for improvement. But both groups showed a considerable improvement. Both groups showed an increase in muscle strength, as determined by isometric maximal voluntary contractions during straight and bent knee calf workouts. However, during the straight knee strength test, men's strength increased by a greater 15.5% compared to women's, who saw a smaller but still significant 8.7% gain. Both sexes had an increase in muscular hypertrophy, as determined by muscle thickness in 2 locations of the greater calf muscle known as the gastrocnemius. Once more, at one of the assessed calf sites, males experienced an average growth rise of 14.5% compared to the females' 4.2%. Overall, the findings demonstrated that static calf stretching for 1 hour per day for 6 weeks increased range of motion, strength, and muscular growth in both sexes, though often with greater increases in men. What causes this then? Stretching producing tangible results? According to the researchers' current hypothesis, stretching places a mechanical demand on the muscle, much like resistance training or lifting weights, which results in structural damage to the muscle fibers. This damage subsequently activates anabolic pathways that result in the production of muscle protein, which in turn promotes muscular growth. They also postulate that the mechanical stimulus generated by a muscle increases with its stiffness and lack of flexibility. The male participants in the study often had less flexibility than the female participants, which could account for the disparities in strength and muscle growth between the 2 groups, since males presumably received more stimulation. Remember that no existing research has specifically examined these pathways. They are currently merely hypotheses. What, therefore, do the findings of this study finally imply for our instruction? If the theories are confirmed in the future, the results could lead to a completely new method of building muscle and strength. However, let's not jump to conclusions just yet, because, as always, we shouldn't base significant modifications to our plans on a single study. Having said that, this study was not the first one the researchers conducted on the subject. In fact, this study strengthened the conclusions of their earlier research, demonstrating a level of consistency that is ideal for science. However, if we merely accept the results at face value, the practicality problem becomes more pressing. For many gym users, adding an hour of stretching each day is probably not doable. Most people only have an hour each day, if not less, to spend at the gym. Also, we only have evidence that this is effective for calf muscles. There's currently no evidence that it can be applied to all muscles. Again, there's little evidence to support the benefit of stretching as a substitute for resistance training when compared to exercises like lifting weights. Even so, time would be a significant barrier. Data on how they would function together would be interesting to look at. In the best case scenario, this might assist in addressing imbalances and weak muscles. If you want to deal with your perennially small calves, as I know you do, it might be worth trying to stretch them out at home for an hour while you watch 521 TikTok movies. The findings of this study could, however, have some very great applications, and the researchers did make that point, and I absolutely agree with them on that. Rehabilitation is what it is. Stretching may be an effective strategy for recovering from injuries if it does, in fact, stimulate muscle and strength. Stretching can be a relatively low-stress and low-load stopgap for developing atrophied muscles until more strenuous treatment exercise can be performed safely, especially for injuries that limit joint stress and muscle loading. That's a significant victory for stretching. Ultimately, based on the outcomes, I probably won't make a special effort to significantly raise my ROM in order to improve my 1RM. With this new information, though, my opinions on stretching have clearly become more flexible, and I'll now be more open to suggesting it in the future. But weightlifting remains the gold standard. If you like this video, please share it with your stretch-obsessed friends and give it a flexible thumbs up. Follow for more. I appreciate your time as always, and remember to eat some protein.